Sam Healey, oh really, it's top 100 games. Sam Healey, oh really, it's top 100 games. Sam won't be caught dead playing roads and boats. When people make him mad, he wants to punch them in the throats. Not kind of grumpy, but he's also kind of fun. He's an army of one.
All right, welcome back to the Top 100, the best Top 100 of all time until next year.
Apparently it's still the best top 20 of all time now.
Yes, it is. We are definitely coming up to the creme de la creme, the top of the top, the best of the best, the Top Gun,
Just
if
start.
you would.
Book top.
The Maverick.
Of the something, the Maverick, really. Maverick.
The goose
Goose.
of the plane movie.
What's good for the gooses?
Okay, we're way
Good for
off.
the Maverick.
Keep going.
Anyway, this is the 20 to 11 installment for my Top 100. Thank you for tuning back in and welcome back. I've got these two yahoos with me to provide emotional support.
You picked the wrong group, sir.
So here we go. My number 20, a game that has replaced a similar themed game that basically just got too big for its britches. I really enjoyed playing Arkham Horror back in its day, but it has been replaced by Eldritch Horror. Similar themed game, not exactly the same, but it's a little bit tighter. It's not as long, and it's only got one expansion right now, I think, right? Only one.
Yeah, they just announced the
Yes.
second one.
But they're
Big
just,
one.
okay, so it could be that this one starts declining as well as it grows and grows and grows.
Well, they did announce that the expansions for it are going to be integrated in a less sprawling method than Arkham.
Okay.
Like, you'll have a card and it will say, now bring out this board.
Okay.
And then you'll bring out that board and work with that board. That's the way they made
That
it seem.
might be better. That might be better.
You're still going to need it to store it in its own book.
Yeah, it's going to have, yeah, exactly. But it has a lot of flavor to it. It has a lot of, it just has a very rich theme to it. It is very mechanical, so you do have to, like almost anything else, you do have to use your imagination to keep that theme integrated throughout the game. But with, I would also stay away from the full maximum player. Maximum, you know, the most players it can, I would stay away from.
That's almost like a general board game rule anyway. If you're not sure, don't play with maximum players.
Some games are clearly better at the maximum.
Some games are, but more often than not.
More often than not, it's somewhere in the middle.
If you stay around 3 to 4 with Eldritch Horror, I think you're doing pretty good.
Right.
Because at that point, your game length isn't too long,
Right.
but it still gives you the same engagement level. So I would say 3 to 4 is your stride there. So that's my number 20, Eldritch Horror.
I don't know you like it that much. It's all.
Yeah, it's a very, very cool game. I really enjoy it. I just, you know, we just don't play that often. My number 19. My number 19 is a game that will probably be higher on somebody else's list, but that is a game called Pandemic. Pandemic is a really cool game that basically is themed around you and your compatriots, comprising a team of first aid officers, doctors, and epidemiologists, and all of these. No, not epidemiologists.
Yeah, that's one of the.
Is that one of them? But it's basically a group of people that are trying to stem the tide and then finally find cures for viruses that are running rampant around the world. And you have to take planes and travel and quash the outbreak over here. And then, oh no, the outbreak starts to spring up over there. And so the people in that region have to do their job over there. And it just had a really cool theme to begin with, but it was a little abstracted. They came up within the lab, and that just kicked the theme through the roof for me. It did add a little bit of a level of complexity to it, so if you like Pandemic for its simplicity, then you might want to stay away from In the Lab, but if a little smidge of a complexity doesn't bother you, the theme that gets heaped onto the game is well worth the complexity. So I would definitely try to encourage you to pick up In the Lab at least. But Pandemic is definitely a game you should look at if you have not. It is a cooperative game and well worth your time. So that's my number 19, Pandemic.
It's all right.
Higher on your list than I thought it would be, actually, but
It is? Really?
oh, I didn't think it'd be in your top 20. I thought it might be in your top 100. I didn't think top 20. Well, there you go.
All right, my number 18. My number 18 is a game that is very similar to Kingsburg in that you are rolling dice and using them as workers around the field. The only real difference is that this one's a little bit meatier and it has a sci-fi theme put onto it, and that is Alien Frontiers. And they came up with the factions a while ago. They're coming out with, well, they came up with a 4th edition? Are they on the 4th edition now? Or
I'm confused, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
but anyway, now they're starting to take the game into a little, they're trying to build rocket-shaped dice.
It's been out for a while. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think it's
haven't
necessary
seen
for
it.
this. Yeah, they're trying to. I'm not trying to wish ill upon them, but I hope they can't do it because I don't think it's necessary for the game. It might be a little, I don't know, it just seems
I think a lot of
gimmicky.
Kickstarter people would be pretty irritated. If they can't
That's
do it.
probably true.
You hear that,
so-
Kickstarter people? Sam doesn't want you to get your backer reward.
I just said I'm not wishing ill on anyone. I just don't think it's necessary to enjoy the game. I think it's a little gimmicky. But anyway, rolling dice and using them to get more ore or get more sunlight on how that, I don't exactly.
Just in a jar.
Yes, got it. And then you use that sunlight and ore to build stuff. Doesn't quite fit, but it's really fun to play. So if you can get your hands on a copy, give it a try at your next game night. I think you'll enjoy it. Again, this is one of those games where you probably want to stick to 4 players is probably your sweet spot. If you go above that, it really starts to elongate the game out a lot, and it becomes a little bit of a drudgery at that point. But 4, it's a sweet spot. It's a good game. Give it a try. That is my number 18, Alien Frontiers. My number 17 is a game that you guys might think is a little bit higher on my list, but it just couldn't win out over some of these other games. It's a game that I talk about a lot. It's a worker placement game set in the Stone Age. And that is number 17, Stone Age. Really?
Really?
Oh, okay.
I didn't think.
That's your number.
I thought it would be in the top 30.
Top 30?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Stone Age is a really cool game. I think one of the main complaints that I hear from a lot of people about Stone Age is that the dice are so unforgiving.
They're way more forgiving than other games.
Yes, they are. Exactly. And that's my main...
I mean, ways to manipulate them.
Yeah, that's...
tools.
You're stealing all my thunder again. So I'll break your hand. Anyway, no. You can mitigate these dice in a number of different ways. You can mitigate the dice rolls by how many you send out. You can mitigate them with the axes. You can mitigate them, well, that's pretty much it. But even if the dice fail you when you're trying to get resources, you can still use the resources that you have to generate points on the same turn anyway. So the luck level of the dice is mitigated away in a number of different ways. So I really think that you should stay away from at least initially listening to those people that say that it is a bad game based on the luck of the dice, because you can mitigate it. You can work through it, and it's actually a pretty cool game. It's a lot of fun. So Stone Age works with, it's probably a family level. It's definitely a family level, maybe a little bit higher than that, depending on who you're playing with. But Stone Age worker placement, great game. My number 17. My number 16 is a game that replaced a bloated farming game called Agricola, and this game is Caverna.
Wow.
Caverna, yeah, 16.
Wow.
And I'll be honest with you, one of the things that really pulled it over the top for me is I just have this weird kind of thing with dwarves.
Yeah, I know. I could say this is called Board Euro Game of the Year, and Sam would be like, it has dwarves. Sam would be like,
Let's give it a try.
We'll play it.
Let's give it a try. But it's a really cool game, and I like I guess you would call it the balance of the game, because you can play in basically 3 different ways. You can play with just all-out mining, or you can play with all-out farming, or you can actually do a little bit of both. And you have all 3 are viable strategies for winning. And I really enjoy it when games are balanced like that. Because sometimes you feel like, I just want to do this, and people are going, yeah, right, like you're going to have a chance to win, you idiot, you know? But with Caverna, I just want to, you know, mine for gems. Well, okay, that's a viable strategy as long as you stick with it.
Is also what's important, that it doesn't do what Agricola did, which is you got to do everything.
Yeah, that's
or
right.
It'll punish you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you want to do just cows, you're about to get... The game's about to come down on you hard.
Well, it doesn't hurt you as badly as Agricola did.
Come down on you.
Right. You still lose a few points if you don't do a little bit of everything, but it's nothing like what Agricola did.
You can do one thing and make up for those losses.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very balanced that way. So that's my number 16, Caverna. My number 15 is a game that I have talked about a long time, and I actually got it from this guy here because he didn't like it. So he's the stooge. My number 15, Fire and Axe, a Viking Saga.
So you're excited that they've announced a reprinting of it?
Yes. Yes. You just told me that. I didn't know, but now that I know.
Pandasaurus is reprinting Fire and Axe. They did the Lost Valley and stuff. So
yeah.
So we'll see.
Ooh, they did Lost Valley? Please tell me they're not chinsing the components.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
You still have yours, right?
I still have mine, but
it's not going to devalue your copy.
No, it's not. It's going to make my copy go like this.
I think Fire and Axe is one of the first games that made me look at Asmodee and go, "Wow, these guys can produce a game."
Components are amazing. Yeah. And the artwork and everything. The game is just one of those games you bring out and go, "Look where board games are today."
Yeah.
Boom. You know, like.
Well, it was one of the first games that I think used the Viking theme without
in a Viking way.
Yes, without getting all nasty blood and guts.
Right.
And without having to go into the raping and the pillaging that the Vikings were known for doing.
I don't know if there's many games that actually do that.
That's what he's saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They didn't go there, but it's not like Vikings, where it was definitely not a Viking-ish mechanics.
Right, it's like growing islands.
Right, exactly. So this one actually did use that exploration and going out and fighting and conquering areas and sailing around and without getting, just nasty stupid about it. So it really shot up high. Actually, I think you gave it to my wife because my wife just liked it so much. You gave it to her for her birthday or something like that. But I was cool with it because I like the game too. So Fire and Axe, a Viking Saga, my number 15. Go out and check it out. I hope Pandasaurus does it right.
That was my number 90. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it was way up on your list. Yeah, but you still had it.
Crossover.
My number 16. My number 14. Going the wrong way. My number 14 is a really cool Egyptian-themed game that has a lot of area control to it, and you have your armies, and it has monsters that you can control.
Wow, that's that high on your list.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Wow. Kemet is a really
I think that it is on mine.
Really cool game, and it has a lot of. According to Jason, it has one definite way that you can always win. And unfortunately, I said, okay, tell me what to do every single turn, and we'll see if I win. And I won. So maybe Jason was right.
The beast.
I know, right?
Don't feed it.
I know, right?
But did you like that expansion that added the
crossover, the extra. Yeah.
Stuff from Kyklades, and they're having a new expansion come for it, which adds a 4th color. Pyramid, and so you get to pick which 3 colors you're going to work with.
Ooh, that's
interesting.
It's a
black pyramid. I think it's like a death type, so you have to pick the 3 colors you start with.
That's really cool. That's cool. That's a really cool addition.
I'm a big fan of the game. I'm not like enamored with it like you guys both love it, but that sounds awesome. I love that they let you do that at the beginning of a game. That's beautiful.
So we're actually getting into a little bit more of a meatier games here, starting with Vikings. The Fire and Axe, and then Kemet. It's a little bit of a heavier Amerithrash ish game where you're just basically domination. You're really trying to dominate the board, get the most points. Of course, that's the point of the game. But you are trying to dominate your other opponents in getting those points. So, but really cool game, really solid theme, beautiful board, beautiful models, good artwork on the cards that you upgrade your factions with. So there's just so much good about Kemet. Go out and check it out if you have not already. So that's my number 14, Kemet. My number 13 is a game that I wish I would be able to play more often, but it's just a little bit too long. But I still love the game, and I love the deduction that is around it, and that is Fury of Dracula. Fury of Dracula just made it, man. You were just 3 off.
I really thought this would be in your top 5, actually.
I thought so. I mean, I knew it was going to be in top 20, so the other games just kind of muscled it out a little bit. Yeah, you were close. So Fury of Dracula is basically where you have 4 hunters, and one person plays Dracula, and they're trying to hunt him down, and the problem is they don't know exactly where he is. Every once in a while they'll get a glimpse of where he has been, which lets them say, okay, well then the possibility is here, and then he might break through their line, and he turns up on the other side of the map all of a sudden. And so it has this just a really cool theme of the track where the Dracula track, where he has to show the kind of territory that he's been to. And so you'll be able to see, well, he's on land, oh, he hit the sea, then he went land, and that helps you kind of narrow down exactly where he could be and where you can send all of your different people. So I like how you can play it with a number of different people. You can play it with 3, where 2 people take 2 hunters each, and then the third person takes Dracula, or you can play with full component of 5 people, where each person, and of course anywhere in between there. But it's a really cool game, a really cool deduction theme. It's kind of very similar to what was that? Scotland Yard is very similar to that. It's very similar to Letters from Whitechapel. Mm-hmm. That kind of deduction themed game, but I really think the theme hit this one out of the park for me.
Yeah.
Fury of Dracula just had a
That map looks like a real map.
Yeah.
From the time period. It's just a stunning looking game.
Yep, very cool. So that's my number 13, Fury of Dracula. My number 12 is a game that is just a no-brainer, and you're probably going to have to cross this one off your list too. But Star Wars X-Wing miniatures. Yeah. See, this is becoming more what is it?
Wow,
I'm enjoying myself more because I'm foiling.
I know, right?
I thought you love this game.
No, I do.
Well,
I do. It's number 12. Come on.
There's only 11 games he likes better than this.
Yeah.
But I bet when the Scum and Villainy expansion comes out, it might move up, because you love the Scum and Villainy.
Yes, I do.
IG-88 ship, come on.
Yeah, I know. And again, I said at the beginning of the list that any point in time, any of these games could be better, higher up on the list than others. It really depends on
number 1.
Your
never.
No, it won't.
There's a degree of error. You have to give us like a plus or minus 3 or 4. You know what I mean?
It's definitely.
Really? I thought it'd be more like a 10 or more.
Oh, you know what I mean. There's some malleability there.
I mean, this any given time, it's probably top 10 material. I mean, you've seen this on my top 10 lists before. So I'm not saying that it isn't top 10 material. It definitely could be, but for the hair splitting part of the top 100, it slipped a couple spots, but the miniatures are awesome. The gameplay is really fun and intuitive. There's no quirky rules in there anywhere. I like being able to, it's one of the few games that I actually like being able to trick out your X-Wing. This has Luke with R2 in it, and the Falcon with Chewie, and all that kind of stuff. And what kind of weapons are they having? What kind of special abilities does the pilot have? I actually like that for this game because it doesn't go too deep. But X-Wing is my number 12. My number 11 is a game that I have spent probably, I wouldn't say the most money, but I've spent a lot of money accumulating this game.
Oh, I can guess. As soon as you said it, there's only one game that you've done that with.
Go.
What?
Tannhauser.
That is correct. Number 11 is Tannhauser, and I have spent a lot of money collecting the miniatures for this, but I've looked for sales, so you know I'm not splurging or anything like that.
Top 10.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It is a very, very, very fun game. It has probably one of what I think is one of the most innovative mechanics in the track system of finding line of sight and where you can affect the board and shoot at other people and that type of thing. It is at its base root just basically a first-person shooter game where you can. It has different types of scenarios where you can respawn, or if the guy is dead, he is dead. You know, you can't get him back, or you can play, you know, respawn style or what have you. But I like the theme of it. It has that Hellboy universe type feel to it.
Meets supernatural.
Meets kind of like a Cthulhu universe, and they kind of mix. And it started out with just German and American units, but now they've got Russian units and Japanese units, and they've really expanded well, and all of the characters really have their own flavor, their own feel to it, and each faction, of course, also has their own feel to it. So it's a really cool pre-painted miniatures game. It is on the pricey side, and Bob told me he picked up a full copy of Tannhauser on eBay or something like that for $50.
Wow, I think the base games.
That made my jaw drop because I don't even have a complete copy, and I know I've spent well over $50 on this stupid game. But my number 11 is Tannhauser, and it's a really cool game. I talked about it a lot, so I won't belabor it any longer. But Tannhauser is absolutely the N-ness. Just didn't quite make the top 10.
I have 7 games that I can make it. Here's the thing, though. I really, more than Z's, I think I will nail all 7 of these. Because you're really outspoken about the games you like. So I think, I'm just curious what the 3 I've missed are. Or maybe one of these is wrong and you've already said it and I'm just doofus and haven't gotten it. So,
all right.
Bring on the top 10!
Here they come. Walking down the street.
Like the kind of grumpy, but he's also kind of fun.